Dean was the funniest man I knew who wasn't supposed to be funny.
Talked about nothing. It was just to relax me and get me to the point that he wanted me to be for the scene.
Years after Dean Martin's tragic passing, Angie Dickinson is finally breaking her silence with revelations that are both puzzling and deeply moving. At his funeral, she called him her partner and best friend and said, "The man who made me the person I am today." But now, Angie is sharing details that have left fans stunned, sparking questions like why she waited so long to open up and what exactly she's revealing about the legendary entertainer. Join us as we dive into this unexpected story and uncover the secrets Angie has held onto for so many years. You won't want to miss this. Angie Dickinson, a Hollywood icon of the late 1950s, was a name the industry couldn't ignore. Her undeniable talent, stunning beauty, and groundbreaking career made her one of the most recognizable stars of her time. She didn't just make waves in Hollywood, she made history, becoming the first woman to lead a police drama on television, paving the way for generations to come. Throughout her illustrious career, Angie worked alongside some of the biggest names in Hollywood, but few partnerships matched her chemistry with Dean Martin. Now, at 92 years old, Angie is finally pulling back the curtain to share the untold stories of her journey, including the highs, lows, and hidden truths of her life and career. Reflecting on her past, she admits that if given the chance, she might not have pursued acting. Angie recounted the relentless demands of making movies, with grueling hours starting at 5:30 a.m. and often running until 6 p.m. if she was lucky. The toll was immense, but her impact on Hollywood was undeniable. Her career spanned dramas, thrillers, and westerns, with a notable exception: comedy, which she joked she never pursued intentionally. One of her most memorable roles was in Policewoman, a groundbreaking series that earned her 3 Emmy nominations. As an undercover officer, Angie embraced the challenge of portraying a new persona in every episode, from a down-and-out hustler to a high-society figure, working with guest stars like Joan Collins, whom she fondly remembered as incredibly kind. Yet, the demanding schedule of a TV series left her exhausted, prompting her to call the work slave labor. Angie shared that after completing 90 episodes, she wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Interestingly, Angie never envisioned herself as an actress. Her entry into show business was serendipitous, sparked by a beauty contest she didn't win, but which opened doors to opportunities like The Jimmy Durante Show. This led to meeting Frank Sinatra, with whom she shared a romantic relationship that didn't require marriage to hold significance. Among her filmography, Rio Bravo stood out as her favorite project. The classic Western paired her with John Wayne and Dean Martin, whom she described as an easygoing, universally adored, cool cat. Dean Martin's journey to Hollywood stardom mirrored Angie's in its resilience. Born Dino Paul Crocetti in 1917 to Italian immigrant parents in Steubenville, Ohio, Dean's path was anything but smooth. Raised in a close-knit Italian household, Dean didn't speak English until the age of 5, making him a target for relentless bullying at school. This harsh environment shaped him, but his charm and tenacity helped him rise above it. By his teens, Dean decided school wasn't for him and dropped out in 10th grade. He took up odd jobs, including working in a steel mill and even bootlegging during Prohibition. These early ventures were far from glamorous, but they exposed Dean to the gritty realities of life. He also dabbled in prize fighting under the moniker Kid Crochet, enduring broken bones and scars in the process. After giving up boxing, Dean began to explore his true passion: entertainment. Starting as a croupier in a speakeasy casino, he discovered his love for performing. Singing in local clubs, he adopted the stage name Dino Martini, inspired by opera singer Nino Martini, before eventually becoming Dean Martin, a name that would define an era. Dean's career skyrocketed, but not without personal sacrifices. Married at 24 to Betty McDonald, with whom he had 4 children, his rising fame strained their marriage. His life took a new turn when he met Jerry Lewis, a brash young comedian. Together, Dean and Jerry formed a partnership that would become one of the most iconic duos in entertainment history, redefining comedy and solidifying their legacies. Angie Dickinson and Dean Martin's intertwined stories are a testament to resilience, talent, and the sacrifices behind their Hollywood success. Their lives, marked by both triumphs and challenges, continue to captivate audiences and inspire generations to come. Their first act debuted in Atlantic City in 1946, but it was a disaster. The audience disliked their routine, and the club owner threatened to fire them unless they improved before the next show. Desperate, Dean and Jerry abandoned their scripted material and decided to improvise. They combined Dean's smooth singing with Jerry's wild slapstick humor, and to their surprise, the audience loved it. The duo's success skyrocketed from that point. They became regulars on the nightclub circuit, performing at prestigious venues like New York's Copacabana. Their act caught Hollywood's attention, leading to their film debut in My Friend Irma. However, as Martin and Lewis conquered the entertainment world, tensions began to surface. These tensions eventually became irreconcilable. While they were magic on stage, their offstage relationship was fraught with difficulties. Jerry's manic energy often overshadowed Dean's laid-back charm, leaving Dean feeling typecast as the straight man. This dynamic shaped how a generation remembers Lewis, zany and over-the-top, as in classics like The Nutty Professor. Their differing ambitions and personalities created friction, and by the mid-1950s, their partnership was nearing collapse. Meanwhile, Dean's personal life was also turbulent. His marriage to Betty McDonald ended in 1949, with Dean gaining full custody of their children. Betty, uncomfortable with the spotlight, retreated to a quiet life in San Francisco. Dean moved on quickly, marrying John Beager, a former Orange Bowl queen, just months after his divorce. Jean would remain his wife for nearly 25 years, though their marriage also had its challenges. Despite his rocky personal life, Dean's career flourished. Martin and Lewis became household names, earning millions and enjoying creative control over their projects. However, by the late 1950s, the strain between Dean and Jerry reached a breaking point. Dean chose to leave the duo to pursue a solo career, a risky move many predicted would fail. History proved otherwise. Dean Martin's talent ensured his success. However, one incident in 1954 marked a turning point for him. During a Look magazine photo shoot promoting Living It Up, Dean was shocked to find himself completely cropped out of the final cover, leaving only Jerry Lewis. For Martin, this was the last straw. Their final film together, Hollywood or Bust, was marked by palpable tension. The two barely spoke off camera, maintaining a facade for the production's sake. Their split in 1956, exactly a decade after their collaboration began, became a landmark moment in Hollywood. Years later, Jerry Lewis admitted his rising stardom had inflated his ego and strained their relationship. Dean's career post-split thrived. Hollywood connections, particularly with Frank Sinatra, helped Dean strike out on his own. Sinatra and Martin's partnership led to Dean joining the iconic Rat Pack, alongside Sammy Davis Jr., Peter Lawford, and Joey Bishop. Together, they redefined Las Vegas entertainment, performing at venues like the Sands and becoming synonymous with charm and mischief. Without Jerry Lewis, Dean found creative freedom. The Rat Pack's humor pushed boundaries, addressing taboo topics and taking a stand on issues like civil rights. By 1965, Dean had his own variety program, The Dean Martin Show, which showcased his charisma and improvisational style. Dean famously negotiated a contract allowing him to skip rehearsals, preferring to spend his free time golfing. Though Dean cultivated a lovable drunk persona, it was largely an act. The drink in his glass was often apple juice, and he preferred quiet nights with his family. Despite persistent rumors, Dean let the speculation build, enhancing his mystique. In his personal life, Dean had quirks that surprised those around him, such as his fear of elevators due to claustrophobia. Professionally, however, he faced setbacks in the 1970s. His 20-year marriage to Jean ended, and his Las Vegas contract with the Riviera Hotel was canceled due to his demanding behavior. After 2 short-lived marriages and a canceled engagement, Dean's personal life seemed chaotic. Despite this, a touching reunion with Jerry Lewis occurred during a telethon organized by Frank Sinatra. The 2 former partners shared an emotional moment, healing old wounds. Although they never regained their former closeness, they maintained a respectful friendship. Dean Martin's personal life centered around his family, and he was a devoted father of 8. He especially cherished his first son, Dean Paul Martin. Known as Dino, Dean Martin's son followed in his father's footsteps, excelling in singing, acting, and even professional tennis before becoming a fighter pilot in the California Air National Guard. Dino was his father's pride and joy, but tragedy struck on March 21, 1986, when he disappeared during a routine training mission over the California desert. Despite exhaustive search efforts, including assistance from President Ronald Reagan and even psychics, it took 3 days to locate the wreckage on San Gorgonio Mountain. The devastating confirmation of Dino's death left Martin shattered, altering the course of his life forever. Consumed by grief, Martin attempted to cope by joining his longtime friend Frank Sinatra on a massive stadium tour. However, the high-energy performances and overwhelming crowds proved too much for Martin, who preferred the intimacy of smaller venues. Tensions between the 2 legends grew, with Martin withdrawing from the tour and retreating from public life. In his later years, he turned to his family for solace, enduring further health challenges until his passing on Christmas Day, 1995. Despite personal struggles, Dean Martin's legacy as a beloved entertainer remains an enduring part of American culture.